So a lot of people talking about the Sound of Freedom movie on child sex trafficking. I haven't seen it yet because I am in Korea. I can't wait to see it. If you haven't seen it, I would encourage you to go see it. A lot of people are giving great reviews on this movie, as well as, more importantly, the awareness that it is bringing. Now, I'm going to talk about a couple of things because right now, Hollywood is in a massive panic. A lot of the movies coming out right now are not meeting its success metrics. Now, if you want to be successful for any movie, you have to at least make 3 times the production budget of its movie. And so it's not about raw numbers, right? But rather, if you look at some of these figures, Indiana Jones had a $300 to $350 million production budget. In the first 5 days, only made a little over $80 million. Even on opening day, it only made $11 million compared to Sound of Freedom being at $14 million. Even at the time of this video, it hasn't even cleared its production budget going on its second week. The Flash, $200 million production budget, currently at $250 million. It cleared its production budget, but it is nowhere near its target of being $600 million or more. Same goes for Elementals, $200 million production budget, currently at $200 million. Again, not even clearing $600 million. So same goes for a lot of these other films, Teenage Kraken, Transformers, The Rise of the Beast. And Hollywood is massively in this situation for which the people are awake. So I'm saying this because we're in a time, right, for which there is a great awakening. We're in a time for which we are fighting for a narrative, for a perspective, and you can clearly see the media attacking this movement of awareness as being this crazy alt-right QAnon conspiracy type of thing. And why is it that all of us are getting censored for mentioning QAnon when the media can freely talk about associating anybody, criticizing it, saying what they think they know are facts of this, when other people are being censored left and right, even now, right? The only safe place you can go are places like Rumble, Truth Social, and other areas. So there's a very big divide. If you don't see it, right? If you don't have discernment to see it and sift through, right, the narrative, you don't want to just take a couple of opinion pieces and think, oh man, that's a touchy subject. It's so nasty and demonizing it because some other The Guardian or CNN, Rolling Stone, Forbes, these guys talk about it negatively. You have to investigate what is the meaning behind what Q is, what's the meaning behind who Anons are, and how is it and why is it that they're demonizing this movement. Now, The Guardian, even I think 2018 had, and look at this before and after, right? Guardian before, child sex trafficking rife in Colombia's picturesque Cartagena, right? And then just recently, The Sound of Freedom, the QAnon adjacent thriller seducing America. The Rolling Stone, The Sound of Freedom is a superhero movie for dads with brain worms. The QAnon ting thriller about child trafficking. And then you have just multiple guys, Forbes talking about QAnon. You have other CNN, all these outlets associating, talking negatively about this. Look at this film or this clip from just a little less than 10 years ago when CBS did a segment on Tim Ballard, who basically Jim Caviezel is playing in this movie. And they're talking positively about this, but now it's a totally different tone.
Last weekend, police broke up a major sex trafficking ring in Colombia, which has become a destination for tourists looking for sex with boys and girls. The police had help from an American who went undercover to rescue the children, and Elaine Quijano met him.
Tim Ballard has one mission: to track down child traffickers. 4 months ago, Colombian authorities asked him to investigate a tip that children were being sold there as sex slaves.
Within a half hour, this individual walks up to me, starts asking me what I'm here for, what I want, and within minutes, he says, well, I've got kids as young as 11 years old.
Ballard, a former Homeland Security agent, now heads up Operation Underground Railroad, a nonprofit group that rescues trafficked kids. After that first meeting, the Colombians asked him to put together a sting.
No men will be in here, only women.
Operation Underground Railroad spent months planning, renting this house, rigging it with hidden cameras to document the crime, coordinating with Colombian authorities,
and negotiating with the traffickers.
How they find these kids is they lure them in by pretending to have a modeling agency. They target them at 9 or 10 years old. And they were telling us that about by 11, they're ready for sex. They're ready to be sold.
What is that like, looking into that kind of person's eyes?
It's horrifying, and this is why. Because I've got a smile in the face of evil. This is the table where we're going to do the negotiation.
Less than 24 hours after the operatives landed, the suspected traffickers arrived on the island, and the final deal with the undercover team began. 54 boys and girls aged 11 to 18 were ushered in for what had been billed as a sex party. They were given candy and drinks and told to wait in this small room.
This little 11-year-old boy, I remember, he asked one of my operatives if they could give him some cocaine or something. He said, they usually give me something because I'm really scared.
By the time the deal was done, the alleged traffickers were set to make $25,000. That transaction was never completed. 25 Colombian special operatives stormed the party, arresting 5 suspects, 4 men and 1 former beauty queen, all charged with child trafficking. The victims, 29 of whom are under 18, were evacuated, given medical exams, and placed in a rehabilitation center where specialists are working to undo the damage.
Right before I got in the boat, we had to walk by this room where the kids were, and they put their hand up. And I touched their hand and see that there's liberation now.
Liberating one child at a time. Elaine Quijano, CBS News, New York.
So you got to ask yourself, what's going on? What's happening now is that they don't want you to know about all this stuff. They want to shut it down. They're tied to it. They're demonizing it. They don't want you to research. They want you to feel uncomfortable so that if you look into it or if you associate yourself into this movement of freeing the children, of exposing adrenochrome harvesting and all these things, they want you to look like a fool doing these things. And so that's why there's such a narrative war of associating, dividing, and removing people from looking at the truth. So look at this from a higher, big picture perspective than you saying, oh no, I don't want to, associate myself in that area. The same thing goes with Christianity. So many people talk negatively about Christians, about certain tenets of Christianity. But really, if you sift through it and understand and see who God is, who Jesus Christ is to you personally, then you would sift through all of this muck, you'll filter it out, and you would realize what the truth is. So the same as it goes with Christianity, finding out the truth, getting behind the first and second layers of all these people saying their opinions and getting to the crux of the matter, the same goes for this movement of child trafficking, of exposing, of pedophilia, of adrenochrome harvesting, all these things. It's being done for a reason, and they're trying to shut it down so that it would make you feel uncomfortable. It would make you feel like it's not something that you should be doing. So wake up to this. And many people are waking up. So it's a good time right now, guys. Again, people are waking up in droves. So go see this movie if you haven't. I'm going to try to see it as soon as it comes out here in Korea. And if not, then back in the States. But love you guys. Talk to you guys very soon.